Are we a slave to our mirror reflection, aka the ideal I, or are we the master of our reflection because the reflection needs us to exist? Can it logically be both?
If you're familiar with Lacan's mirror stage, you know that Lacan thinks that the infant at some point sees itself in its reflection in the mirror, and the concept of an I is created. It's born because of that moment. The baby can see itself in the mirror and identify with it, identify with this external image for the first time. Until this point, until this moment in the mirror, it just maybe felt like a fragmented living experience. There wasn't an I, there wasn't identity, there wasn't subjecthood. It was just kind of this thing that was experiencing hunger and pain and couldn't quite move the way it wanted to, was not very robust or strong. This image of the baby in the mirror looks like it has it all together. It looks strong, unified. All of its body parts come together nicely. There's clear boundaries between it and the world. It's a real thing in time and space. But the baby, even though that's its reflection in the mirror, feels more like this. This image does not look the way the infant feels. The infant feels completely fragmented, and the image looks unified and strong. So in this moment that it recognized itself in the mirror, the I came to be. And for Lacan, the I is the ego. Before this moment, before this recognition of itself in the mirror, before it identified with this external image, there was no I. There was no identity. It's not like it looked in the mirror and realized, oh, that was me all along, and it uncovered an I. No, the I was created in this moment. But the I was born from a misrecognition. It was born on a misrecognition because even though the infant identified with the image, it did not feel like an accurate depiction of it. And looks can be deceiving. Just because you appear to have it all together in your reflection does not mean you have it all together internally. And as we know, a photo or a video can never represent your true inner human complexities. So the I, or as we said, the ego, was born or created from the moment of misrecognition, which means that the I came from a fiction. This is a fiction to think that this external image is you. So you spend your life trying to do whatever you can to fill this gap. But for Lacan, the gap is permanent. There's a permanent split between the I and what he calls the ideal I. And remember, we said I is ego, so we could also say ideal ego here. So the ideal I, or the ideal ego, is the imago, the image, the external image of you that is in the mirror. You're almost jealous of this image of you. The jealousy is that you want to feel the way your image looks. You don't want to feel fragmented anymore. You want to feel unified, and this image looks unified. You don't want to feel chaotic and out of control. You want to feel the way this image looks, the way the ideal I looks. The I can never authentically embody its external image. It can never become the ideal I, because this is a fiction. And why is it a fiction? Because looks can be deceiving. If you took a picture of yourself right now and looked at it, what would it show? All it would show is your physical vessel of flesh. Would it show how you feel over here? Like so chaotic and fragmented inside? Contradictions and complexities of the human experience? No, images can't show that. I think there could be an interesting argument to be made about Hegel's master-slave dialectic in Phenomenology of Spirit, and how we can see the I, the ego, and the ideal I as either the master or the slave. This is my reading. Hegel did not say this, and neither did Lacan. The master, the infant, sees itself in the mirror, and this is its reflection. So why is a reflection considered a slave? Well, I would say that the reflection of the baby in the imago, the ideal I, is ontologically parasitic onto the infant. And the reason I'm saying ontological parasite is because the reason this object, this reflection in the mirror exists, or the reason your shadow exists, is because you do. And if you take away the subject, there is no parasite there anymore. What starts off as the infant as a master and the reflection as the slave changes, and I would say that the ego becomes the slave and the ideal I, the imago, becomes the master. Once we got into the territory in Lacan, where we started realizing that the I, the ego, was trying to fill this gap and be the ideal I, become as unified and robust as it is, then the infant actually became a slave to its own image. It became a slave to the ideal I, which means that the image became the master. But initially we said that the reflection was the slave to the infant master. And the reason we said that is because if there is no master, then it's not possible for there to be a reflection. You have to exist in order for there to be something in the reflection. So the reflection depends on you to exist. But now that you are trying to become the ideal I, your reflection becomes your master and assumes mastery over you because it's alien to you, but you so badly want to embody it. You feel fragmented inside, you feel chaotic inside, but your master, your image that you're idealizing, looks like it has it all together. It's strong, robust, unified, and you, on the other hand, are fragmented in the inside. But if you'll notice, based on what I just said, that means that you are both the slave and the master. And your ideal I is both the slave and the master as well. So it's not one or the other. It's almost like the dependency is flipping at various stages. If it moves out of the way, the reflection's not going to stay. It's going to go. It's gone. Because your reflection is parasitic on you. Without you, there's no image of you. So your image, the ideal I, the imago, assumes mastery over you because you so badly want to be like it. But it is also a slave to you because It cannot exist without you. Do you think it's a paradox for this thing to be both master and slave and this thing to be both master and slave? Maybe it's not a paradox. Maybe we're talking about different contexts. Maybe we're saying that it is a ontological slave to the master object, which is an ontological matter about being and existence, that the existence of your reflection is parasitic on you. But then when we're switching it and saying that the I ego is actually a slave to the master, we're not really talking about physical ontology anymore. We're talking about something more abstract, like a yearning to become like an ideal I. So perhaps it's not a paradox. It's reminiscent of the master-slave analogy in Phenomenology of Spirit, because the master and slave are in this relationship where they both need each other for validation in order to exist, and they can't break free from each other. And I think that that could be an argument made for some similarity analogous to the I and the ideal I in Lacan.